Joining us now is Alabama State Representative and Assistant Minority Leader Marika Coleman from Birmingham. Representative Coleman, great to see you.
Great to be here, Joy.
Okay, so let's take a look at Doug Jones's map. He won by essentially winning what's called the Black Belt, all of the parts of Alabama where African Americans live, including the county where Selma happens to reside. Do you think that the fact that African Americans formed so much of his base, I think 56% of Doug Jones voters, were African American, do you suspect that that is why Roy Moore is so dubious of the result?
Oh, sure. Roy Moore actually gave out the rally call to white supremacists when he, said that there was some type of voter impropriety. Historically in this country, when there is a high voter turnout, there has been that charge. And the Republican Secretary of State has just said that that's just not the case. So we're excited. Jefferson County is one of the counties that he cited. We were higher than the average of the rest of the state. And it's really a slap in the face that Roy Moore would make these allegations to the people who went on the ground, knocked on doors, and encouraged people to go out to vote.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that Alabama only went solid Republican in terms of the state legislature in 2010 when Barack Obama was president. Right. So with all of the Senate seats back up again in 2018, is there a possibility that this momentum that Doug Jones used to win could actually change the composition of the Senate in Alabama?
100%. In Alabama, the state legislature, nationwide, with the U.S. Senate and Congress, there is this blue wave, this progressive wave that has gone across this country. No more are people just looking at their U.S. Senate races per state. They're looking at the impact that these people are going to make across this country. So, there's some other states that are in play that I may actively get involved in from the state of Alabama. Other people may actively get involved. We've got to make sure that we elect progressive people in the state houses across this country, but also in U.S. Congress.
Well, so speaking of that, the African-American population in Alabama, it's 26.8%. It's very high. Mississippi's even higher. It's like 37%. Is the idea here that in states with high African-American populations, even if they're deeply red states like Alabama, that if you just mobilize enough of those voters, plus about 30% of the white vote, can that be replicated? Or was this, frankly, because Roy Moore was just somebody so objectionable?
Well, of course, Roy Moore was a train wreck of a candidate. And, for someone to talk about how times were better during slavery, of course, that, issue is one of those issues that mobilize black voters. But in addition, there are lots of issues that African Americans and communities of color care about, kitchen sink issues, healthcare, education. When you talk to us about the issues that we care about, we get out and vote.
Yeah.
And, again, it's a slap in the face to Birmingham when people marched in the streets of Birmingham so the rest of the country can have the right to vote, to say that there was some kind of cheating going on here in Jefferson County.
Yeah, absolutely. Alabama State Representative Marika Coleman.